Oh, 8 people here. Okay, I guess I'm live now. I know last time when I went back and checked the live, it started recording me at about 2 minutes in. So I kind of wanted to go past that time. That way everything made it into the live show. So in this meantime, everyone, relax. Relax, man. Just, yeah, relax, man. Take a deep breath. Center yourself. Yeah, just relax, man. I like relaxed people. It's all the woo-ha-ha in the comment section here that just really upsets me, man. In a quick hurry. So, let's stay away from that. Anyway, I hope everybody out there is doing well. I kind of just wanted to, Mama Bear, glad you're here. James, Lynn, Jane, Lisa, Alaska. Hey, Alaska's here. B, how you doing, B? Yeah, you know what? I've heard that before, B. Smith. Don't do it again. Anyway, I hope everyone is doing well and, came to relax and such. I do have some information, rather new information on the Delphi case. However, and I don't want to be a disappointment, but I can't release that right now. But I will say this: it's not that it's not doesn't have to deal. Well, see, I want to phrase that right. I mean, my suspect is real here, but what I'm getting at is it involves the case and not so much a suspect is what I'm getting to. So I hope that everybody can just hang on for that, because what I want to do is Greeno is going to be here this coming week. Hopefully he can make it Monday, but if not Tuesday, and then I can get the video and everything for him to edit, because I want to make probably in an area of a 6 to 7 part series of my final stance. And what we want to do is kind of go in on that together, because like for what I'm going to have as like in my videos, because we worked on this case so long together, I think that we understand the full amount together of Delphi, what occurred and so forth. So we want to make sure that that's put in there in both ways so that everything is covered into that. And in part, that is what the new information revolves around, is that. Well, I don't want to really touch further into that, because if I keep talking, I know how I operate, man. I'll be just sitting here just talking about it rather than putting it in a video. So anyway, yeah, it involves some scenarios in the Delphi case, and it was something that I came up with the other night, because while putting the information down for this final stance video, and that will be the series name, we talked about that. And we will probably end up splitting the videos between channels. Like I would have part 1, part 2, well, and it depends, because what I wanted to do was put the ones with what I'm speaking on directly and solo on my channel. The ones where we're talking on it, where we both have like our say within what, happened. And it's really isn't like that. Take as an example. There are things that could have happened one way, or they could have happened another way. Now, we can't tell, and there is no evidence to make a determination of which way, but, we know that it would have to be like one of these two ways, stuff like that. And that too would be put in, because for anything that I would be giving, I could also give like, the opposite of that in a way, so to speak. But I think that we understand the route, the direction traveled, how he got back at approximately what time, and we're drawing a timeline out. So when I was sitting there thinking about that the other night, I went back and I watched the old timeline video, and that's on Greeno's channel. And I think it's on Greeno's channel because we uploaded it to mine, and then mine got deleted. My channel got deleted, and we had that video there. And I think that that's why we uploaded it to his. But man, I looked at it the other day when I was thinking about the timeline, and it had like man, I think it was like almost 17,000 views. Anyways, but I'm just taking you back, that's where I was at. I was like, wow, it's doing really good. We really got that information out to a lot of people. But when I was watching that, because coming this March, that will have been made 2 years ago. And I seen some stunning mistakes in that, looking back on it 2 years after the fact, and when you look back, it's like, oh, yeah, you know what? That can't be, or this can't be. Yeah, I doubt that happened like that, and this couldn't have happened, then it started like kind of mapping itself back out. And that's really the new information, is kind of the way, because I talked to him about it, and we were both in full agreement as to because there has been information since then the last 2 years. And that definitely helps with the timeline, because it gives better times of, through everything through, so that it follows a better degree of how it happened and when. Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's let me put that up there if you don't mind. Oh no, God, good Lord, no. No, it involves no rumor or anything like that. It's just more I was what I was doing, okay, was I'm thinking, okay, the guy gets there at, law enforcement says, about noon. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, well, he would have backed into that spot at the abandoned CPS building. Would have had to. He wouldn't have like pulled directly in where anybody coming on County Road 300 could see his license plate, from where the car was. So I assume he backed in, got out, walked up toward Freedom Bridge there, and hit the trail right there on the east side of Freedom Bridge, walking into the main entrance. And I was following it like he would have had to been thinking, okay, because, I know that the suspect was there, regardless of whom, was there for a reason. Okay, because I am putting it at the same person as Evansdale on the reverse date. He was there for a reason of, if you see my point. So he didn't want to be seen. He didn't want to walk up and by people on, hi, how are you doing, where they could describe his face. He didn't even want to be known as being there, you see. Now, my suspect, and I draw that into my mind, I just want to point that out. That doesn't have to be your feelings, but the same may be the case. The guy went there for a reason, all right? Now, when he's walking that trail, Monon High Bridge Trail, heading east from Freedom Bridge toward Monon High Bridge, he's keeping an eye out to his front to see if anybody's up there, hiking or otherwise, because he doesn't want to walk by and them see his face. So he's keeping an eye to his front. And my guy, having military experience, went down here to, I guess that was, what was the name of that? CSI. Was it CSI school down there in Tennessee? Anyway, as part of his curriculum, he would have scouted the area. And I mean, but that was already apparent, firstly, that the person would have scouted that area, because, I mean, once we knew, yeah, that guy was there to commit that, to commit that act. Well, then you got to look at it from a person who's going to commit that kind of act's eyes. What would they, what would be their thing? Scout, man, make sure nobody's here. Find an area where there is nobody, where I can stay low key. I can keep an eye on the travel, the hikers, select my person, so to speak. So I'm looking at it through those eyes, and I'm trying to draw that all out with the times that we had on the timestamp video. And that's when it stopped matching exactly. I think that there's some leeway in some areas, and I think that we got other things that was definitely wrong, or in part wrong, because the way that we had drew that out firstly, but we didn't have all the knowledge that we now do. So we are going to reconstruct a new timeline video. But that timeline video will be within the whole of the whole Delphi case. When we draw it into what occurred with the timeline, that will just be a snippet within that bigger video. 32 people here. How many thumbs up I got, man? Balls crossed. Anybody know? Nobody knows how many thumbs up I got? Is it over 33? Because that would be really cool. That'd mean everybody's trying. Yeah, that charge is going to be over a year away. B. It is over a year away. I mean, I already know it's my guy. I mean, it's in the bag as far as I'm concerned. It's him, and I already know that. I'm just telling others. 16. Wow, that's like half the people give a shit. Oh, 12. Yeah, that's like a big steel-toed boot right in the ball sack. Man, ow. Man, I told you to keep your paw crossed, bro. Yours only shows one? I hope it was you, Lisa. I hope that was yours anyway. So anyways, yeah, my guy's down there on first-degree murder in a St. Louis jail. Okay, they want to speak to the guy before they press charges. Once they speak to him, they can draw the whole into it because they spoke to him about it. You see where I'm at? They got to get a grand jury indictment from Carroll County. The best they could do walking in without talking to him would be this. We got DNA and 2 people that said they seen him. Huh? What do you think? You know, that would be about it, I believe. But if they go down and talk to him, then they can provide him the grand jury with the full amount of evidence, file the charges. He's hit like that. One way or another. He ain't even got to confess. Once they talk to him, bam, charges on the table. Yes, we do. We do have the death penalty. And that's going to be my sign. Give him the death penalty or we won't reelect you. You know, your pansy prosecutor ass is out of here. Hey, Sue, man, I hope you got my email. I think I sent it last night. Check your email box. 22. Hey, all right, man. Crossed, like this. There you go. Donate to Wolf. You know what? People do need to donate to Wolf because he's still upset about his birthday. He turned 100. I had his birthday on here. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bear. No one wanted to call and say happy birthday to him. Man, he felt so bad about that. He felt so old. And I told him, man, I'm like, yeah, you're not, man. You're a puppy. You know, anyway. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Who's got his pulse crossed currently? So, anywho, back to the point. And what was the other point? Oh, yes. Yesterday morning, Icons reached me. And we were set up in Streamlabs right here, like I am now. well, it was back in August, though, Mama Bear. But yes, he's over 100. He might be 101 now. But anyway, Icons got a hold of me yesterday. We were supposed to speak about, he said, from 10 to 11. So I was on here and waiting. I had sent him a link to join me. But I told Greeno to be here at a little after 11 because I would hope that, me and Icons would still be talking at that time. So Greeno gets on here, and me and him was sitting here and chatting for about 15 minutes, and Icons showed up. Which I about crapped right in my pants. I really did, because there he was. Bam! So anyway, I got to, Greeno was here. So I introduced him, because private chat at that time with the 3 of us here. But I got to introduce him to Greeno, and we showed him the editing, and he really loved it. And I am in hope that Greeno can make him a really good, solid intro. That he'll be using Streamlabs and really boost his overall subscribers because everybody needs to go watch Icons. That's spelled just like this, by the way. Totally a man of common sense. Love that channel. But in due time, I will get to speak to him privately. And I think he said, I believe he said, and I don't want to quote him out of place, that he would, be on my show. Because he was asking me, like, what, and I'm like, just a run of the mill. I mean, really, it would be more him introducing himself and his channel to you than really any big interview. Because without knowing the man, you see what I mean? Any questions would be a little redundant because you'd be like, well, I mean, I don't really care. You see what I mean? But if you get to know the guy, you'll see. He thinks in a very common sense way. And I love the way he breaks it right down, man. So anyway, that is, let me see. You know what? Thank you on that. No, he isn't. No, it's separate channel altogether, B. It's entirely different from Delphi. But that does bring me to a point that I will get like right back to here in a minute. Yeah, it was that right there, Miss Chris, that I was thinking about. And that was in part a piece of it because I'm thinking like how, when, why, where, and all like that. And that did kind of lead into a lot of what started going through my mind. But I believe we got it really narrowed down now. Oh yeah, man. If you got a question, I mean, it's channel update, but always Q&A. Riley Park. Crap. Yeah. I know where it's at, but it's the highway it's off of, which I think is 25, going into Delphi. I was at 25 south, going north into Delphi. Check Google Maps, put in Delphi Riley Park, and it'll pull it right up. It'll actually pinpoint where it is in Delphi. You know what? Thank you. Okay, right. And again, that right there that's what, this is what was going in my head because I was sitting there and I mean, I was going through every step of the equation, the who, what's, where, when of every moment. And that occurred to me, was that thought. I like the way you think, man. I do. Well, it's I believe that's Deer Creek that runs by Riley Park. I think that is. Go to Google and put in Delphi Riley Park. I mean, it will show you exactly, even the creek. B. Smith, yes, I do. I think that from everything that I've seen, regarding, and when I'm looking at the guy, after a while of looking and checking off all the criteria, which all matched, what it was I was looking for, at least in some way it matched. He had been at a drinking establishment prior to the Catholic supply store, homicide and murder. I assume he was drinking. Well, at the traffic pullover 1 month prior to, almost exactly 1 month prior to that, when he got pulled over, he was very intoxicated, and you could tell. Well, if on the second occasion, before committing a first-degree murder, he was drinking, and we know that he was drunk 1 month prior to that, then it kind of sets in my mind that, firstly, this guy drinks, okay? But secondly, so do most serial killers. Now, for a guy who had never been arrested before to go in and commit first-degree murder like that was a Christian pastor, that is almost unexplainable to me. That's like a very flip side of a human. That's like an opposite of. And for whatever reason, when this guy's drinking, he can become that guy. So it makes me believe, because I'm connecting Dean to Delphi and Evansdale, that he was probably drinking up to, not during exactly, not he was out there with a bottle in his hand, but he probably had it in his vehicle because he was already at least under the influence when his mind's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go on with this. I'm going to do this, and that usually takes some liquid courage. And a lot of serial killers use that, like almost actually before all of them. They are drinking during or had been drinking and were intoxicated at during the fact. So I think that he did use like liquid courage prior to both. I'm sure that in both he was at least to a degree intoxicated. I would not be. I believe that in one or both he may have took a video of the actual, and I think that might have been something that they found there at his household, and that might be something that he had hid back, because it's a serial killer behavior. When I say behavior, I think, it's in their head that they do it because they want to relive what they've done, and so to video or to take pictures and so forth, and, like keeping a memento because it takes them back to that time. Well, if you got like an HD camera with you, you see where I'm at? That could be something that a man of that nature might do. And that is right there. If he had that, that's in the bag for the prosecution. I mean, he doesn't have anything to say. He had that video of the actual crime. There's only one way that he could have obtained that. Yeah, right. Yeah. But I don't want to like the crime factor. I mean, like that moment of it. I don't go there because I wouldn't go there. That's out of the. But the rest of it is what I'm looking at. But there will be that allotted time, because it will break it down to a time from here to here, throughout the timestamp. What? Libby was phoneless. Right. Well, Amelia, and again, this, if you don't mind, that's going to be in the video that I'm making. I mean, I understand, but if you phrase it like a question, that I can't go to presently. That does have to be kept for the video, because to sit here and give it away, then who wants to go watch the video? You see where I'm at? But not that you wouldn't want to, because it's actually going to cover everything. I mean, every single aspect, man. This video should be, God, man, it might be 8 to 10 hours long, if not longer, because I think that there will not be a missing detail or one thought taken, even if wrong, and then shown later to be wrong, will be in it. Because, and that will have like an asterisk that this was a thought that fit the criteria, but it did not fit the circuit. You see where I'm at? It didn't fit the whole of that, because as new information emerges, this down here, your whole, as to what transpired changes. So sitting here today, I mean, duh, I got a much better understanding of it now than what I did 2 years ago. So, a lot of things do change like that. And I don't know why neither one of us had ever reconsidered and thought, man, we need to make that timestamp video again. But when I was going over that, and I see, like I said, I seen the mistakes, and again, new information and so forth, that we can pinpoint things a lot better. I think that it would come out just really solid as to the way that played out. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. I mean, and it could be in his pants right there because and I'm going to take this back to Daniel Nations. You know, back when he was the prime person of interest, man, we was looking up every single thing that could be found on that man. And there was the one, and I used it in the video of his statement of innocence, you know, and I showed him sitting there in that chair, and in his left hand jeans pocket, he had a tablet. You know, you see where I'm at? And it was square like that, identical in his pants as what was on Bridge Guy. And when we seen that, we're like, whoa, bam. It was like a light came on. We're like, yeah. But again, man, I mean, like, and I was on that. I mean, that I just want to say that is where my thoughts were, because when I look at Bridge Guy in the face and the body, I didn't see Daniel Nations. Now in the sketch I did, in the sketch, I'm like, okay, that relates. You know, he definitely relates some to this sketch, but you know, not the pictures of Bridge Guy. But it was a good one because the more I look at that, you know, I mean, the more I was seeing that, man, you know, that does fit. And I know how Daniel Nations operates, and that guy likes to sit there and watch porn while he waits. You know where I'm at? So I was thinking this could be the same character. But again, I arrive at the identical as yourself because he very well could have had something like that to record. B. Smith, I hope that you relaxed at the very beginning of this because you're coming off very centered, man. Very centered. And I like the way you think now. Wants money. Who wants money? Yeah, you know, I give it that. I mean, and that is the way that everybody throws that out there, that it was mentioned very cryptic. But in again, if I'm going to point to anything in that, like with the movie The Shack, I've never watched the movie The Shack. Now I did set up one time to watch it because I got it on my computer to watch, but I never have yet. I mean, I know what the movie relates to, and I watched the trailer, and you know, other people that have seen it told me about it, but I never really sat down and you know watched it at this time. But you know, B. Smith, and again, it's the way that he's thinking there, that there could be something that amounts to, and I don't, you know, but again, I would question why police would want to say it in that manner. You know, why would they point to anything even cryptically? You know, and I mean, it wouldn't make no sense to me. However, it may relate in a manner like that because I mean, if they were to the suspect and what was done, and relate that to maybe something that was done like that in the movie, then that might be something. I'm just saying, and understand. I mean, I'm not, you know, like it happened, but I believe that it very well may have happened. Okay, that the bodies were staged. Okay, and in a manner like that, if they were staged, as to, and I'm not sure, like for the reasoning. But again, it was on the reverse date of Evansdale, but those bodies were there for so long that any staging would have been, you know, over time. So you know, it makes me wonder about that. Yeah, we'll do. Woof. Well, as soon as he wakes up, man. As soon as he wakes up, I will relate that to him. I will. I'll tell him. See, I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that because I already know that they knew who it was. At that time, I knew that they knew who it was. And I still believe, coming up 1 year later, they know exactly, and they knew before me who it was. So at that briefing, which again, I'm relating it to ending the investigation. Okay. We know who did it. We got his fingerprints. We got his DNA. The 2 eyewitnesses that seen the man that day said, yes, that's the man I seen there that day. Okay. We know that they got him down there in St. Louis jail. He can't get out. We're safe from him. Can't nobody be hurt. But we can't go talk to him and press charges. So we can't just come out and say, well, we got his DNA and fingerprints, because then we would have all kinds of questions that we couldn't answer to without telling them our investigation. So we got to play dumb until at which time we can talk to him. A year from now, next October, is when he has his jury trial and will be sentenced. When he is, then he's no longer represented to where nobody can talk to him. And they'd be down there right after October of next year, talk to him, and then file charges. Okay? Now, that's what I believe. So when they had the Delphi briefing, I'm watching that. Didn't go there, man, because like you wouldn't be able to ask questions anyway. So I thought, why go there and watch it when I can go right down here to my friend's house, watch it, and then come right up here live and do a live show as soon as it ended. Now, what flipped me out about that, and I was upset about, was they added one word to the audio rather than down the hill. Now, actually, it's like a little higher pitched, like he was saying higher pitched, but it's guys down the hill. Okay. They added one word to the audio, and they also released the video, but they already knew that you couldn't tell anything from that video. And the reason for that is this: they went down there and they had already talked to all of his friends and family, my suspect, everybody that knew him, all of his friends, even the people that lived next door. They showed him that video of Delphi. Okay. The Delphi video. Does this look, can you identify this as him? Now, that's what the one lady told me. That was his neighbor. Okay. So I'm positive everybody got the identical question. But when the FBI and not Carroll County Police, when the Federal Bureau of Investigations talks to you, they tell you, don't tell anybody. It wouldn't matter if she said, yeah, that's him. She would not be able to tell anybody that. I think they're all told the same thing. I just don't know. I can't tell, just and leave it at that. So anyway, I already knew that they knew who did it. And I still know that they know who did it. But they can't talk to the guy and they can't say we know who did it. So anyway, when it goes to that, hang on. The sketch, the second sketch, they also released that. Now, when they said that they was releasing a second sketch, I'm like, okay. Before they even showed it, I'm like, okay, it's not going to be anything that looks like my suspect. Because if they're releasing a second sketch and it looks just like him, I mean, then everybody would be like, hey, did you not get a call from these people in St. Louis? Because that looks just like him, pal. No, they released a generic second sketch. Both people that seen the suspect that day, the lady walking her dogs and flannel shirt guy, those were the two. He was there like probably just over 3 hours, maybe a little bit longer than that, depending. But anyway, those are the only two people that seen him, aside of, but you know what I mean. Both of them seen him with the hat on. That's why the first sketch has the hat on. They couldn't remember the exact style, like if it was this or a flat cap, but it was in the style like mine. Okay? Both of them seen him with the hat on. Now, look, if I walk up to a person, say I walk up to you and, hey, how you doing? Pretty good, man. Yourself? What do well, yeah, well, beautiful day. Now, when I go home and somebody, did you see anybody there? No? Nobody? Well, I said hello to someone. What they look like? I could give a brief description of you. Now, one thing that I would not overlook while giving them that description was your age. Well, how old were they? oh, I don't know, probably, 30 to 32, right in that area. The 18 to 40? Two people, 18 to 40. What the hell? No one gives a description of age 18 to 40. Holy shit. Like 30 somewhere through the middle in there. I mean, like, where's the mindset? So the law enforcement's like, yeah, we're looking for someone who lives, worked in the Delphi area, ages 18 to 40 years old. No, this is our sketch here because this was like right away. We don't want this confused with that other shit we gave you. No, just overlooked that. That was criminal how the FBI threw that on you. No, this is the person we want right here without a hat on. Yeah, apparently they seen him like that. Yeah, but he's 18, That upset me because I knew who did it already. I was in the know on February 13th of last year. Wait, no, that was in April. My bad. But it's still at that time, I was already in the know in February. So I see that and I'm blown down by it. I'm blown away. I'm like, they know better than this. And I was upset, and I came up here and I did a live show, and I was mad. I was angry about that. I was definitely angry, but it's what I do. I'll get angry, immediately get angry. And then I calm down. Then it's forgotten. 2 days later, man, that's like 48 hours ago. And I calmed down, man, and I started giving some rational thought to it. Well, why would they purposely release that, knowing that it's absolute garbage? Why would they say that to the public? Why? And then I'm thinking, aha, snap. I know why. Because they got 46,000 phone calls. 46,000. The whole population of Carroll County is 20,000. That's how many phone calls they got to go out and investigate individually each separate person that phoned in. Okay? Now, after the briefing, after they handed out that new direction, that was the name of it. That was from the FBI, I guarantee you. They like to name shit. They like to name things like that. So when they came out with this, you never thought we would have a new direction, did you, suspect? Well, neither did I. But then again, I got to thinking, haha, they handed out very old information that I had released. And I said in that video, provided, and this is why I said that, provided the suspect did not have a car. And that's how I phrase that. Provided he didn't drive a car there. The only place he could have came from would have been Delphi. Take the tracks down to, walk across the branch over to the trail, and then take that back across the branch, back to the railroad tracks, and back to the residential part of town. Why? Because nobody's seen the guy walking into town. Nobody's seen him on the highway or the county road. Only two people that seen him was at the trail. Nobody's seen him outside of the trail. So that was my assumption. If he didn't have a vehicle, he had to come from Delphi. Hello, Faith, survivor. Let me scroll back up here. That's a good question, Lisa M. No, I didn't hear that. But I would say this. It sounds a lot like rumor. Because, look, there would be no way for anybody to get that information. No way. That would have had to come from his wife to a friend of hers that told somebody that heard that and said, oh, really? Well, I'm going to get on a Facebook forum and tell people. It sounds very run-of-the-mill rumor. And I don't know. He may have family in Warsaw. I know he's got family in Fort Wayne, though. He's got a brother living in Fort Wayne. But you go straight north of there up to Montrose, Michigan. That's where Thomas Bruce is from. Montrose, Michigan. That's where his family lives. That's where he was born and raised, went to high school, went to the prom in Montrose. That's his place of dwelling when he was young. Hello, A10. Okay, well, anywho, back to what I was speaking on, which was my suspect and other such matters. Relax. Relax, man. Center up, man. Center up with me. Deep breath. Like everybody relaxed, man. It makes me more calm in here. All right. So, you see, 39 minutes in. If anybody's got any questions, throw them up. I will be happy to get to them. I actually was scrolling up, but as I scroll further and further up, it really it takes from what I'm saying. I like to keep people entertained, man. You're welcome. Yeah, he goes by Senior. So I know that he's got a son. Now, I didn't really look any further into that, as to his kids, because I would never reach a child of his. It would be the same thing to me, man, as like reaching his wife. It's like, look, man, she's devastated that this happened, man, that the husband she loved had committed what he did. I mean, that blew her mind away. She was very apologetic to the families, of the people that was there at the Catholic supply store. So I mean, I wouldn't reach her, but Greeno did. Now, she had said in that interview, or it wasn't an interview, he reached her and she wrote back that, no, I know that he wasn't in Indiana that day. And that was on the 13th, and that was like over 2 years beforehand, 2.5 years. She goes, I remember that the night before that, on the 13th, we had a dinner plans together, and we went out that night. So I'm like, okay, provided that's true. And the FBI didn't say, yeah, if anybody from one line, because there's like a million people looking into this crime, if any should reach you, please tell, something like that, because that is what goes on. That is how the FBI works. They don't want people in their investigation, so they keep everybody hitherto. But anyway, she had said that, and I'm like, okay, fair enough, because at 3:00 he left from here. Now he's going back into Central Time, where he loses an hour. It's a 4.5-hour ride, but on his clock would be 3.5 hours. He would have been home prior to 6:30 in the evening. Never been missed. So, well, his wife was working as well, and he wasn't. So when she got up in the morning, as did he, he knew where he was going and went back. Now, and again, that's one of those things that could have happened, but I don't place that in the timestamp, because in the timestamp video, the person will be called either suspect or man, one or the other. But, I don't put my suspect in the shoes right there, but I do give my reasons why I believe that he is. Okay. And again, this is the part, and this is why I like having a guest, which takes me back to what I was going to get to a little bit ago. I like having a guest here, and it's very helpful when it's Greeno, because him and I know this case in a very great manner. We covered everything, man, top to bottom, in between, and every little in the middle. So I know that he gets it, and he sees it in like manner as I. As far as the Delphi case, I ain't talking about my suspect, but as to the way that it occurred and so forth. So when he's on here, it definitely gives me the thing to ask him something to where he's like, because it gives me that break. Because if there isn't a person here, then either A, I'm answering questions, or B, I'm repeating myself. You see where I'm at? I don't like to repeat myself, because when each live show, I'm just repeating what I said in the prior, but this isn't a total repeat, because one, I do have the new video coming out, and two, I asked Randy Gravett if he would be a guest on my show. And I was thinking, because I don't go to other people's channels and watch them and view them and take information from them. I mean, everything that I got, everything top to bottom, that was me, or it was with the help of Greeno. Like when we was both I'd be like, okay, look this up and see if you can find, like, because we'd be like looking for court records or, any number of things on multi different websites. So we'd both be busy. And that's why I say, I know that he's right there. He knows what it is that I know and why. So if I got Randy, and I thought what I could do is have these other people that specifically look into the Delphi case on my show as a guest, but it wouldn't be like I got you questions from me. It would be more so that they could tell people the way that they look at the case, because, and I think that would be important for people to see as well. I'd like to get icons on Randy. There's a couple other people. So what I'm throwing out here is this. Let me pull this up real quick. Wait, let me remove that for a moment. That is Randy's website here on YouTube. And if you have somebody that you would like me to have on my show as a guest of my channel, just to come on here to talk and explain and this and that and kind of give their take or so forth like that, just simple back and forth between me and them, please send that person to that email. And I would be happy to go ask them if they would be a guest on my show. I don't think he's from Delphi. I think that he's I think he lives about the same distance as I do. Well, maybe not quite as far. I think I'm about 20 miles from Delphi right now. And I think he says pretty close to that south of Delphi. No, see, yeah, but that isn't what I'm going to be doing. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I won't be doing that. It wouldn't be really so much as me talking as much as them giving their platform on Delphi and then me asking them about their position. You see where I'm at? But I wouldn't really be putting my information to them. I mean, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, well, what about, that's why I said it wouldn't be anything like that. It would just really be more about having them as a guest. And then that way, the people that are on this channel that know who they are, they would see them on here. And if they don't know who they are, then they would be, it might get more views. It may. We don't know. It'd be me sending my audience. Will I talk about Scott? I'm not sure what that means, Jane. Kind of. Well, yes, Miss Chris, but not totally. I mean, it would be a chance for like my viewers too. You see where I'm at, but I wouldn't really be taking anything from anybody. I don't think anybody's looking at it the same way that I do. Who's looking at it like I do? Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I don't know who that guy is, man. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point, Alaska. And I did kind of want to, well, there wouldn't be any way to just locate that easy. Yeah, I don't know who it is. If you hear things and you don't see it in a paper, disregard it as public rumor and other such. Yeah, well, exactly. And that is true. There isn't anybody, no one that I've seen talk to that didn't say, Thomas Bruce, oh man, yeah, great guy, very friendly, cheerful, just a loving guy, man, totally compassionate and everything. Oh yeah, man, great dude, man. If I didn't know they had the right guy, I'd swear it couldn't be him. Yeah, that's what kind of guy, everybody. It ain't just like one dude. It ain't just like a lady said that. It's absolutely, no, wait. I take that back, man. The guy that hit him in the butt, in that car accident. Yeah, when Thomas Bruce got out, man, I mean, he said that guy was angry. He came up chest bumping me, man. He's like, he wanted a problem. And that is the flip side of the good guy. That good, great guy, that dude, that cheerful, that guy. The opposite of that is that dude, man. Because when he's drinking, that's who he can become. And it does make me curious. Did his wife ever see that? I mean, there was never a time when the guy was arrested, man. He was 53. I mean, his wife never seen when he was drinking that he became that person. I mean, it's hard to hide who you are when you're drinking. I know. I was that guy that was drunk, man, for 12 years. And believe me, people got tired of my shit real quick, because, it was, that's how you are. You relate to who you become when you're drinking. You start to become that drunk. So it seems like she would have, hold on a second. Somebody's at the door. Yeah, sorry everyone. We got to, I hadn't put the chickens in for the evening yet, and one of them is sick down there. A neighbor came to say, "Hey, one of the white chickens is acting." And I said, "Okay, cool. Live show, live. Excuse me, live. Oh, okay, bye." Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was that dude too. I was the happy drunk. I was the lucky drunk. I was the bad drunk. I was the this drunk. I was the that drunk. I was the mouthy drunk. I was the drunk that always wanted to fight. I was every drunk that there was. I was even that passed out in his own vomit drunk once. I remember waking up and I'm like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, that was mine. All right. Vaguely remembered that now. Can't believe I laid in it, but there it is. I'm witness. Yeah, because you know what? I'm thinking about this. All right. I'm thinking about, well, I mean, not, but still the same. I was entertaining the thought that the Delphi murders happened in February of 2017. Okay. It was just right at about 1 month after, firstly, I'll put it like this, President Trump got inaugurated in January of that year. On the 11th of, in January of that year, on the 11th, Thomas Bruce files bankruptcy, then resigns from his job. 1 month later, Delphi. And I know that Thomas Bruce was a big, Donald Trump fan and went to his rally and so forth and all this. Had that, and that hurts me, man. He had the Gadsden flag up in his front yard. And hey, man, I got respect for the Gadsden flag, man. I mean, that's like the flag of choice, that do not tread on me. Don't do that, man. You know what? You got your area. You tread there how you like. Don't tread on me, man. That's where it hurts. But, for him to have that flag and support Trump the way he did, and at the same time of his inauguration, filing bankruptcy, resigning from his job, I think that that's when the plan started to get triggered, was in that area of time. I think that he resigned from his job because he didn't want to be working on the reverse date. But I think that that's when it started to become clear to him that, yes, on this reverse date. And I think that that's when that started occurring. It wasn't like he went out and said, I'm going to do this. And then 5 years later from now, I'll do it on the reverse date. I think it was more of that happened. And then there was the realization that those digits were coming up in reverse because he'd remembered this date so well. You know, what was that? 7/13/12. You see where I'm at? 7/13/12, 7/13/12, 7. You know, that when he's seen that, in reverse order coming up, he's like, hey, well, he couldn't have a job, because if he had a job, man, he would have missed that day. He would have needed a reason to go elsewhere. But if his wife didn't know what he was going to go do and he wasn't working, when she went to work, he had all day to go do. You see, he could go do that without being missed. I don't know that he did anything to lose the church. I mean, it's just like his job there at Snookies or Snooks or whichever. I think it is Snooks. Where he was the manager of the grocery, like that. Well, it didn't say how he lost the job, but it said that that's when the job was lost, whether he quit, was fired, resigned, laid off, put his 2 weeks in because he had another job. It didn't really specify how he lost the job. Well, the same thing happens at a church. My dad's a preacher. Now, not the dad that I was raised by, but my biological father is a preacher. And I mean, right over here at the church too. I mean, it's just, right up the road right here from me. But he preaches, but he doesn't every week because they got the main pastor. They got the guy that preaches all the time. But when that guy isn't there, then my dad will preach in his stead. You see where I'm at? And that can happen. Like he took over that church after the main guy had left, but then another guy came to fill the shoes, and there it was because there was nothing really big made. Like, oh, he was a big pastor at this church, or, it was more like he pastored at that church for a little bit of time. So I think that he was involved with the church, BTK. You see where I'm at? Just like BTK was involved with the church. Now, again, because to like almost every degree where I'm looking at, you got this Christian guy, you got this really good guy, this friendly, cheerful guy. Everybody liked. I mean, his neighbor was like hard pressed to say anything at all. I mean, and on the news, she's like, yeah, I hope it isn't him. I hope he's innocent, but, and I'm all to the thing of like, this woman can't be that naive. I mean, at that point, I mean, shit, man, they went in his house and took him out, man. That wasn't just for fun and games. So, yeah, man, and see, it's like when I get rambling, I forget what in the hell it was I was talking about. Oh, right. So with the church, man, I'll just take it back to that. I think somebody else may have come in, but yeah, there it is. Because you got the church angle, same way. Well, what's the opposite of church and God? It's over here with first-degree murder, sodomy, rape, brutality. There's this really, really great guy. Then over here, there's this monster, this, sickening, there's like two sides of a coin, from a great guy to this evil satanic monster that's there. When he's drinking and that comes out, that's what people would witness. No, I don't, Carolyn. But again, I don't. I could give what his son looks like. That's not anything I would entertain myself toward. He could look exactly like his dad. He could look just like his mom, and it wouldn't relate because it ain't about his son. His son doesn't know anything. He didn't go tell his son. I mean, you see where I'm at? Yeah, and you know what? I think that might be the oh, Mama Bear. I will get right back to that here in just a moment. Yeah, BTK went to a church, and that is where he was sending Allah, because I mean, I forget up to what position that they he was in that church, but he was some position in it. And when he was there, man, and he had asked the cops in something, and I forget how that went down off the top of my head, but it matters not. That they could read anything about where a message had come from if it was put on a floppy drive. And they're like, no. Of course not. Why would you even ask such a stupid question? You see? That way he would send him a floppy drive. Well, when they send him the floppy drive, they're like, yes. And they got right in there and seen exactly where that was put on that floppy drive. That showed up at the church. Well, they're asking the guy, well, who was here at this time last week? Well, let's see. At that time, it only would have been, and then there it was. And then they went to that guy's house. Bam. They nailed BTK just on that. Because BTK thought, well, the cops wouldn't lie to him. Here we are. We're talking back and forth like men. Why would they lie? Well, of course they lie. I mean, shit, man. It just ain't a serial killer, man. It'd be me. It's anybody walking down the street. Cop don't give a shit. Cop wants that money, man. He wants that little guilt, man. He wants to throw somebody in jail. He likes to make you pay your price for being a peasant. Ooh. Crap. Sorry. Yeah, you drop a mouse. What are you doing? All right, man. Peace, Chris. Miss Chris. No, what I said was I don't know how I could reach somebody. I could reach somebody at that church, but for me to say, oh, was you there back at this time when Thomas, like that, it'd be like, no, I don't even know who. I mean, I heard of the guy now, but I wasn't here then. I mean, it would be hard to narrow someone down. And then if you did, and then you got a hold of them and said, I was just asking, they would probably be like, dude, no, I ain't answering anything on him. Because what could they answer? I mean, what would they say, man? Yeah, he's a preacher, man. Well, that's the way we seen him, man. He's a good guy. I mean, just like everybody else. If there was somebody at that church who seen him differently than that, they would have been on the news. I'll guarantee you that. Yes, I'm positive. I don't think that there was a carpet fiber that wasn't uncovered in that house. They went under the house and probably in the roof and probably in the spaces between the walls because they didn't want anything lost. That could have like, either case, any and all cases, anything like that would have been looked at. All right. Well, it's been 1 hour. I could probably. Okay. All right. Cool enough. Unless anybody has any questions, I think I will round this out at 1 hour. I just wanted to touch base before the weekend because Monday, I got a family recipe and we're going to make it down at a friend's house. And I wanted to video that so that I could put that out, and you guys could see how to make them and family recipe. Guarantee you'll love it. And I'm not saying that because it's a family recipe. I've just never seen a person that didn't eat it and go, damn, what the hell is this again? It's really that kind of good and stuff. So I did want to pass that along. That way people, would know how to make them. And Greeno, I was going to have him do the edit, but I wanted him to film as well as, help with the preparation, and edit because I wanted to get that video out as quick as possible. And secondly, which dealt with, let me scroll back up. I got to see what that was again. Well, it related to something, and I forget what the hell it was. But secondly, and it dealt with that. Right. Because Tuesday during my live show, it might be possible that Greeno will be here, which kind of sucks, man, because it's better when he's on the air side of the screen. But it don't matter, man. Even if we're like sitting here and, you just take turns talking and such, but we might be doing that live show together because we also wanted to talk about how we was going to do the Final Stand series, you know, and I told him that like the separate cases, we'd have to split those, you know, between Delphi and Evansdale, and the others, we'd go my channel, his channel, and maybe to WKAT depending, but we'd probably split those videos in half, the other ones. But I would hold them as my video, but with his editing and some of the intellectual material within it. Have a great weekend, Faith. If that was you leaving. When people say have a great weekend, they could be talking to somebody who said have a great weekend. You know, would that have to be reading chat? Oh, Lily. Yeah, you did, man. You are late. And I hope you didn't just get notified. Please don't wait for a notification. It won't happen. You know what? I don't really know. I don't know when he's going to release those. I should have asked him about it because he was really big on it prior to speaking to the one. And oh, you know what? Maybe he hasn't talked to the second yet, and that may be the reason. But because I know after he was talking to the one, he was very big on getting the interview put out. And then I think because he had to talk to the other one to see if both, you know, and I don't think that that's happened yet. So, you know, kind of keep your eye out for that on his channel, if you would. And let me see. This is my email address. Now, if you have any questions through the week, night or day, 24 on the 7, send them there. I always answer questions when they're delivered to me by email, and I usually get rather wordy. So if you want a really wordy email sent back to you, chances are that's going to come from me. Oh, no, man. I know some people, man, you send them an email address and they're like, yeah, okay. What? Ask 20 questions and I get, yeah, okay, all right. I'm like, man, I don't think they read my email, Wolf. They couldn't have, you know, but I do, man. I read the whole damn thing and I try to touch on everything that a person asked me concerning, you know, that way they understand what my perspective is on it. So, anyways, everybody, that is probably going to wrap it up for me this evening. But I will be back Tuesday evening, and that would probably be at 6 o'clock. Because I want to keep my Tuesday time at or right there around 6 o'clock. Now, hopefully Greeno will be with me, but at the same time, because literally at the same time, I think Icons was talking about Tuesday, you know, as for doing a live show, which is great because that's my night when I do live shows. And Randy Gravitt, I believe, said, reach me Monday or Tuesday. So it really, you know, if Greeno's here, we may be talking to Randy at that time. It is a chance that it could as well be Icons, but I know Icons has something set up for Monday for me and Greeno and him and another person, you know, to sit down and discuss some stuff with. So, you know, that's probably when I'd ask Icons a time when he would like to be on. But anyway, until Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 6 o'clock Eastern time, Eastern, okay, remember that. That's when my live show will be. Don't wait for a notification. YouTube won't send it. They don't like me. I don't know why, man. I did everything I could for YouTube. Even made like viral videos, man. I mean, like really made them some money. That's a fact. I mean, I didn't know where that number. Yeah, I don't know. I'll reach YouTube one day about it. Anyway, everyone that's out there, man, have a great weekend. I will see you soonly. Peace.